Hi everyone, so welcome back to In Conversation. My name is Sandy. As usual, today we have a very incredible speakers. We have two amazing professors, Professor Corina Joseph from UITM Sarawak, Malaysia, and then Dr. Chun from Curtin University, Australia. Basically, both of them just finished their presentation as a plenary speakers in our Faculty of Economics and Business Conference, and then they did amazing job. They did a really insightful presentation. And now we are going to talk and discuss casually in terms of research and then teaching and also master or PhD supervision. So welcome to In Conversation, Prof. Corina and Dr. Chun.
Thank you, Dr.
How are you
Sandy.
today?
I feel great in Semarang. Thank you for inviting me to be part of the ICE BIS 2023.
My pleasure, Prof. Corina, and glad that you enjoy your time here in Semarang.
Yeah.
So what about you, Dr. Chun?
Oh, I feel it perfect.
Oh,
so
great.
I tell you, I really love this city, love this campus, and love this course.
Yeah.
I feel like people here is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So about Unnes, actually, Prof. Corina and also Dr. Chun have amazing academic record. They won multiple awards nationally and internationally, and then they publish in top-tier journals. So I think we will learn a lot from their insight and expertise about the teaching, about the research, and about the supervision. So I would like to frame our discussion into three specific areas, which are teaching, research, and supervision. And let's start with the first session, which is teaching. So I would like to first go to Prof. Corina.
Yeah.
So what is your teaching style, Prof. Corina? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more.
Okay. To me, after the pandemic, my teaching style is more focused on hybrid. What I have is actually using the pre-recorded lecture videos, and I share that with my students before the class, and they will take a look at the lecture. And during the class, what I normally do is just to recap, from the pre-recorded video lectures. And then I will ask them whether there are something that they are not sure with. And also, the tutorial question will be done on class time. And starting from 2 years ago, I think last year, after we came back for the normal teaching environment, what I will ask them to do in order to encourage their participation in class, I will request them to answer the tutorial questions in group and posted the answers on Google Classroom.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that is a real time, and this is a way to me to encourage more engagement with the students.
That's right.
Yeah. So in this way also, this will actually stimulate the self-regulated learning among the students.
Oh, that's really nice because based on my understanding that actually during the pandemic, the engagement between the teacher and then students quite low.
Yeah.
Right. But now you maintain engagement, even the student is more active in the hybrid learning environment. That's amazing.
Correct.
Yes. So what about you, Dr. Chun? Are you also using a hybrid learning or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like just my teaching philosophy is take students as my partner.
Yeah.
So like I engage students quite intensively. I practice sort of a reflective strategy. So like during the teaching weeks, I ask students a very simple 3 questions like, okay, what do you want me start? What do you want me stop? Or what do you want me continue? So students' feedback really take into account, and I adjust my strategy very timely to reflect students' requirement, and also it has students' learning experiences. And another thing, I think, because I have a very diverse teaching portfolio, so my teaching basically focus on future-focused, technology-based, and innovation-oriented units. For example, yesterday we also mentioned about how technology, how blockchain, how AI gonna change our accountant career, right?
Yeah.
So in my unit, students gonna learn, okay, we don't need traditional bookkeeper.
Yeah.
What we need is we need data analysis scientists. We need decision makers. We need strategic decision partner, right? So this is what we need. So also in my class, I educate students a lot of hands-on experiences about how to use some technology to solve the real industry-based problems.
Yeah.
So in my class, students intensively engage in the class activities. They will learn a lot of hands-on experiences to solve the real problem.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So as an academic, sometimes we are overwhelmed with the teaching and also research work, right? So what is your expectation, Prof. Corina, for balancing research and teaching?
Okay, thank you for that question. I am now in the research track.
Okay.
So we at UITM are considered privileged because we can actually choose few tracks, teaching and learning, research and publication, and leadership. So I am in research track, and at my level as a full professor, I am given 6 hours
Okay.
to teach, and the rest of the hours I will focus on my research, publication, and also supervision. But definitely our key performance indicators per year would be different from those who are in teaching line. So as for me, I was expected to have at least 6 publications per year.
Per year.
Yeah.
In the reputable journal.
Yeah, WOS and also Scopus. And as the corresponding author and first author.
Oh.
So in terms of managing the time, I think we need to prioritize our priority, because on top of that, there are also other ad hoc responsibilities like invitations from other organizations to be the panels, to be the keynote speakers,
Like what you did yesterday.
yes, committee. So it is actually up to us to manage our priority. Okay.
That's very
That's my
insightful, because at Unnes, Prof. Corina and Dr. Chun, we do not have that kind of track. So I think, but we know the bigger picture. Yeah, probably we are going to modify this kind of mechanism.
Yes.
So put something in priority is very essential, because otherwise we cannot, work at the same time with too much overload works. Okay, what about you, Dr. Chun? Are you also in the specific track, or you have a holistic approach?
Oh, yeah. Actually, my case is quite different from Professor Corina, because just finished my PhD 3 years ago as an earlier career researcher. Actually, I involve heavy teaching load.
Okay.
So, and so how can I balance my research and teaching? I have a strategy I call creating synergies between what you teach and what you research. For example, my research area is a lot of technology-based topic, and I also saw a lot of environmental issues, use some advanced research method, technologies, digital platforms. So in this case, I can use what I teach, those materials to incorporate to my research. Another way is I also can just use what I get from my research to inform my students. So students can always get some updated knowledge from my research project. In this case, I create some synergies and save a lot of time, and also it's keep my research going and also keep my teaching materials updated. So this is my strategy.
Oh, that's really good. And I understand, because we are as an early career researcher, and Professor Corina is a established professor, so I think
different
you
stories,
have different stories, but at least the Sobat Unnes and the academics at Unnes will know the bigger picture between the strategy from different contexts and different situations.
Yes.
Okay, so back to Professor Corina. So how do you keep your motivation to be productive? Because I know you published many papers in a very good reputable journal. So have you ever feel down or demotivated to do research?
That's a tricky question. Yeah. It is important for us to keep going.
Yeah.
And to me, as long as you know your responsibility, you know where you are heading to, that should be no problem. And my role now is actually, even I cannot achieve the performance indicators myself, I'm happy to be a mentor to my junior colleagues. Okay. In Malaysia and outside Malaysia as well. So that actually something that we cannot see, but to me, this is something which is a kind of satisfaction that I cannot really express or describe. So that's how I actually keep going, and I thank God for giving me the motivation, the strength, and of course the support from
system.
my support system is very important.
That's right.
That's how I see.
Okay. So finding a mentor, and then also
I am the mentor. I am the mentor to the junior, support system, and the intention. Your good intention.
Right. Responsibility in academic.
Yes.
That's very insightful.
Yeah.
So what about you, Dr. Chun? Because you know that you said earlier that you have a heavy teaching loads, right? So it does affect your motivation to do research, or what is your strategy to always, maintain your motivation?
Yeah, I think that the answer is very simple, just because I really love research. I love what I'm doing. Yeah. So for me, it's explore a new, exciting, critical, urgent topic, global topic, for example, environment issue. If I can solve those kind of problem, or I can make a little incremental contributions to those big pictures, to those severe problem, I feel, yes, it's my value, it's my life value, And for me, research journey not always smooth. It's like ups, downs. We get the rejections, we get the acceptance. So it's always like this. But for me, I think the motivation is not from outside; it's from inside. I feel like, I really love this job. I also, like Professor Corina said, I supervise my students. I observe, they grow up. They learn some skills. They learn how to do research. They learn how to tell a very interesting story with very rigorous logic. It's informed audience, right? So in this case, we feel, we did something interesting. We did something valuable, right? So I think this is the way I always self-motivated myself to keep high quality research and to be a very productive or successful researcher.
And there is also self-satisfaction when the mentee, like Professor Corina and you say that when the mentee grow up or leveled up their professionalism, their personality, it makes you more than happy.
Exactly.
To be a witness, to be the first hand of it. Okay, so Professor Corina, so what, based on your expertise, what are the some qualities of the researcher that must possess to, to be an independent researcher?
First and foremost, we have to keep abreast with the current issues surround us. A good example was ice beast. I was given a task to talk about SDG and technology. So practically, as a researcher, I never use any kind of this technology, but I take up the challenge by reading, by exploring the ideas and how to connect the ideas between technology, SDG, and using some theoretical perspective. So reading is very important. And number two is that keep on learning. I never miss any kind of research webinar from distinguished professor. To me, learning is something that is supposed to be never stop. So keep on learning, keep on reading, and also the third one is sharing your knowledge. In this way, you will be consistently trying very hard to upgrade the knowledge, because you want to share the knowledge. So you yourself have to position that your knowledge is slightly higher than those who are going to learn from you.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at the qualities of the researchers. Yeah.
Never stop learning.
Never stop.
Never stop learning. That's really impactful statement.
Yes.
Yeah. So what about you, Dr. Chun?
Yeah, quite similar with Professor Corina. Like I just like define myself as a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I just when I finished my PhD, like I just empty myself. I said, okay, it's just a new starting point. I keep learning from like distinguished professors, senior colleagues, and also nowadays I think our audience, students, everyone has great opportunities. Like we can learn, we can use our technology, digital platform, give us huge resources. I just keep self-learning, keep learning from others, and also keep high quality. I think is like we should be very open-minded. You should know, okay, this is the quality. You should first know what is a high quality, right? You know the quality there, and then we should target the highest. So you set this kind of criteria for yourself. So when you think about ideas, we should think something interesting, important, globally important. And if you use some research method, you should use the advanced method and provide some solid and scientific evidence. So this is, I think, it's not only just a point. It's about like systematic thinking from idea, from research method, from the writings, from storytelling, from all those aspects of researchers. We should be, I think, excellent. You should target the high quality.
Yeah. Okay. So, Professor Corina, I know that you have a broad experience in terms of publication and also teaching excellence. So, how do you navigate rejection? Because, because to be honest, as an early career researcher, and then sometimes it's really hard to cope the rejection in terms of a publication. Or maybe how do you navigate the difficult situation as an academics in general? Do you have any tips and tricks?
Yeah, yes, I face rejection, especially in terms of the publication. Lately, from 2021 till now, most of my papers that were finally accepted have to go through at least 3 or 4 times of submission process. So definitely Dr. Sandy can imagine the frustration and all that. But try to think positively, okay? When you talk about publication, you have to remember there'll be a home for your journal, finally. It's just that sometimes we need to be patient, and try to actually don't be rushed.
Okay.
And sometimes when I received the rejection from the 3rd submission, what I did was try to cool down, calm down myself for a few weeks. Then I revisit the paper and try to improve. Try to improve, read and read and read. So that's how I cope with it actually. So that is in terms of publication. But for the research proposal, I have actually no passion in that. To me, if let's say I was not successful in building a research project, I can be prolong my another next application for 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
But my passion is actually more on publication.
Research.
Yes, I receive a lot of awards relating to publication as compared to research. But from the research itself, actually, it can lead to the quality publication, that is for sure. So to sum up, is actually don't rush. Try to calm down and just believe your paper will have its own home at the end of the day.
In the perfect time.
Yes.
Trust the process.
Yes.
So that's very important. So what about you, Dr. Chun? I know that you are as an early career researcher, but you have also amazing publication in top-tier journal in the many Q1 or A-star ABTZ system. So could you please kindly share how do you navigate or cope when you got
The rejection.
Have you ever got the rejection?
A lot. Yes, a lot. So I remember when I feel like my research is perfect, when we submit out, but we get rejected. That kind of feeling is very bitter. So very make me doubt. So what I learned from this process is I allowed myself be down due to rejection. So we allowed any emotions come out. We allowed ourselves to sometimes not get there. And also from later, I talk with the senior colleague, with the top one global researchers. They said, okay, you see, this is the published paper, articles, but my rejection paper is this high.
Okay.
So you understand this. Actually, later I learned what? I take rejection is a part of the publication journey. So publish journey. So it's a part of a process. Yeah, and then you reject it, maybe because you target high, or just maybe it's the scope is not fit this journal. So don't take those rejection too personally. I think Corina's strategy is perfect for me. The rejection, I really take a few days to read the review comments very carefully. So in this case, I avoid some too strong emotion involved in. So I can think this one very logically, critically, right? And it's really help us to improve our paper to, like Corina said, I believe all paper have its home, right? Ideal home. So we keep our hope alive and also take rejection as a part of the process. So it should be okay. It's just like a part of the game.
Understanding that rejection is the process of the publication journey, I think is also very essential. Okay, so now in respect to the master or PhD supervision, I believe that you have many PhD students. So my first question would be, are you taking a student for this year?
Oh, yes. Currently, I have 8 or 9. I lost count actually. PhD students. Most of them are PhD students and 1 master student. And at the same time, I am also doing informal coaching. Informal coaching, meaning to say the students have not formally enrolled, but I devote my time to train them, especially the masters by research students, because in my country, for Bachelor of Accounting in my university, the students have limited knowledge in research. So I guide them slowly until they are ready to apply to enroll into the masters. And also I'm doing one for a PhD student as well. So informal coaching is also important before the students formally enroll into the program.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay. I mean, that's very kind of you, because you commit your energy, your expertise, and also your time to, train the master students informally.
Empathy is very important when it comes to supervision. So a lot of time actually sacrificed for this kind of thing, and nobody knows you're doing that. It's just between you, the prospect students, and God. But I'm willing to do it wholeheartedly. Yes.
Impressive. So what about you, Dr. Chun?
Sandy, actually, I want to add more things about the rejection, how to deal with rejection.
Okay, sure.
I think one thing very important I forget to mention is collaboration. When you have your team, you collaborate with some senior colleague or even with some junior colleagues, doesn't matter. At least you have your academic friends with you, you have a team with you. So sharing is carry, right? Sharing is carry. So sometimes you can share those success, or you share those kind of rejections. I think collaboration is extremely important for the success of the researcher, or you will deal with the rejection.
Yeah, that's true, because now actually we are living in the collaboration era. So we are not competing, basically.
Exactly.
We are collaborating. Because we compete with our own self.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So what about for the PhD or master supervision? Are you taking a student this year?
Yes, actually, I take students this year, and I currently have the principal supervisor of 3 PhDs, and collaborate supervise another 2 PhDs. And so actually my students is from different countries, quite diverse. So I really enjoy to training them, to grow up together with them. So for my PhD, I have a very systematic, structured training program. So, for example, we have basically I write it this way. So, before I take any students, I gonna have at least twice interview. I know the students is ideal students that have at least a strong motivation, want to become a successful researcher. They really love research. So I will take this kind of candidates. And second stage is I started from how to explore very interesting, important research ideas. So there are a few ways, a few strategies to select the very good ideas. And then I training the academic writing, methodologies, storytelling, also submissions. It's just systematic project there.
Yeah. Okay, so talking about the ideas, Professor Corina, in general, do you tend to give your students a project or have them select their own?
Most of the time, I must have a few, what we call a stock.
Yeah.
Stock of ideas, projects, and then let them decide.
Okay.
Then in my case, because I am more into the content analysis of the secondary data like annual reports and also websites. So I will actually open the ideas to this kind of data, and also I will give them few options, which area, for example, like sustainability reporting or human capital disclosure and this kind of thing. So most of the time, I'm the giver.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Especially for the masters by research students, because of the facts that I mentioned earlier, there is a lack of research skills.
So it really depends on the context.
Yes.
Right. For master, probably predominantly you'll give them a little bit more cool ideas.
Yes.
But then for PhD program, you provide them with the alternatives.
Yes.
And then let them decide.
Yes.
And I also remember back then when I was, doing my PhD, I think my supervisor also treat me that way.
Yes.
So at least, they provide alternative, and you decide by your own, because basically that's your own research.
Yeah. Correct.
And then we just only being an advisor or supervisor.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah. So what about you, Dr. Chun?
Quite similar to Professor Corina. We say that for me, I know sometimes I provide fish to them and I also teach them how to fishing.
Yeah.
So it's quite depends. Like Corina said, if students have strong opinion they really love some area, some topic, I just let them go, but I'm the advisor, like you said, give them guidance. But if some students don't have a really particularly interesting topic, so I provide the options. But sometimes I really I really give them opportunities to explore by themselves. So, for example, I give you a few weeks, they should read a lot, massively read. And then they have a lot of inputs, and then they can have output, If they read a lot, and the next student says, I have this idea is that. But the first step is always a lot of rejection from myself, from their supervisor. So I said, this idea maybe you should first ask me why you want to do this. Is it interesting? Something I do some literature review, nobody do this, so this seems like gap. I said, is it really gap? Or it's nobody care? So you should ask me, basically you give me 1-page writing, tell me what you want to do, why you want to do. Is it interesting? Is important? Important to whom, right? So you have any statistic number, evidence to show this is an important topic. So I have basically, because time is quite limited, I have that kind of a structure way to select topics to training my PhDs.
That's really impressive approach, actually. So talking about the supervision for PhD students specifically, we know that PhD journey is ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. And then, so what do you do when your students are struggling? So what are you going to, help or probably provide a feedback for them? Because I recall my memories with your statement. Empathy is a very essential, as a supervisor. So do you have any comment on that?
Yeah. It depends on case by case, actually. Yeah. So if the students are progressing well, that's okay. I have this principle, meaning to say giving constant feedback.
Yeah.
But there are some students who can really take up the feedback, follow the suggestions, but there are also students that fail to do so, regardless of few reminders, few, so it's quite difficult actually, but I try to use a diplomatic way, and then sometimes we have to use some psychological skills as well, saying that, okay, you want to finish fast, you follow my advice, so sometimes it actually becomes a wake-up call for them. But again, it's too much depending on the students themselves. As a supervisor, we will do our best to provide feedback because students need feedback. And my style is that I give them the timeline, the deadline. So if they fail to follow my timeline, that's it. Okay? Then I'll give another deadline. So that's I play around a lot with the deadline and also the feedback. That's my style actually.
I agree.
And
then basically they also need a self-discipline and self-commitment because at the end that's their research. Right? Okay. So what about you, Dr. Chun? So
quite always similar. Quite similar to Professor Corina. So my strategy is I have a group training, group meeting, but I also have a regular weekly basis meeting. So students what students do is before the meeting, then you send me the document we want to discuss. So students email, actually I can share some pieces with you. They are very structured emails. So say here is what I did last week. Here is the to-do list. Here is those things I want to talk with you. So it's 3 parts, very structured. And then like we have a shared OneDrive. So students like have a meeting minutes after each meeting. So this is what the problem we solved. This is what we should do next week. This is the tips I get from my supervisors. So very structured. Always share the folder with all the team. So like another PhD will also say, what's the study progress and what we learned from your case. So we write a team way, and we also learn from each other. It's very important. And in terms of how to like motivate the students, I think the key thing is I always take myself as examples. So I said, okay, I remember when I did a PhD, I have a very similar scenario as what you face now. Like I tell my own stories, how I go through that process, what I learned from that process, and what strategy helped me to out. So I really learned from myself. Or sometimes I said, okay, I attend a conference. I learned from a very distinguished Professor Corina, and also take Corina's case or a successful
stories
to students. Students have a very specific idea or picture what a successful researcher look like. Or like sometimes I think that kind of strategy very important is I allow my students have a bad emotion. I allowed myself to make a mistake.
We are human.
Exactly, humans. Like I just go through the difficulties with them. So I said, okay, everyone make mistakes. Everyone take time to learn some new things, right? So I'm being very patient and very approachable. So that sometimes we have a regular meeting each week, but anytime they can call me, they can come to my office. I always open my door to my students.
So compassion is very important between the supervisor and also student. Okay, so that's wrap up our discussion for today. So thank you so much for coming, and I do really appreciate your expertise, Professor Corina.
Thank you.
And then Dr. Chun. So I hope we can meet in another meeting and another academic events. So thank you so much for Sobat Unnes. That's wrap up our conversation. So see you in the next episode. I'm Sandy signing off. Bye-bye.